If you ask me what the most unexpected direction the writers could take right now, I would not bet a single dime on Britt getting back together with Jason. I know that is a highly unpopular opinion. Half the fandom is practically throwing a parade, expecting a grand romantic reunion now that he is finally returning to town. But if we look closely at the underlying narrative and the psychological shifts happening beneath the surface, that door is firmly shut. Instead, I suspect Britt is about to embark on an entirely new chapter with Hudson, the mysterious new arrival. We are looking at a massive pivot, one that redefines her entire trajectory and leaves the expected tropes in the dust. Let us set the stage with where things currently stand. Jason has finally returned, cleared of his charges, and the immediate assumption is that he will pick up right where he left off with Britt. They have history, they have intense chemistry, and they share that undeniable spark of mutual trauma. But this is where it gets interesting. The landscape of their relationship has been fundamentally altered by a series of betrayals and hidden truths. Britt has, intentionally or not, dragged Jason into an absolute nightmare recently. The sheer volume of chaos she has orchestrated or stumbled into makes a simple romantic reboot practically impossible to execute. Think about the massive secrets involving Cassius and the web of lies surrounding Nathan. Britt was not just a passive bystander in that mess. She was deeply entangled in a deception that compromised everyone around her. Trust is the absolute currency that Jason deals in. Once that trust is fractured by lies about something as monumental as a fake identity or hidden agendas, he does not just forgive and forget. I look at their recent interactions, and all I see is a foundation that has been chipped away until nothing stable remains. Jason cannot just overlook the fact that Britt jeopardized his safety and his freedom for the sake of her own complicated family drama. Furthermore, Jason himself is not the same man who left. His time in captivity, taking the fall to protect others, has clearly shifted his internal compass. For decades, we have watched him operate as the ultimate loyal soldier for Sunny. But right now, the narrative is heavily hinting at a massive departure from that life. Jason is looking at Danny, looking at the danger that constantly surrounds his son, and realizing that the mob life is a dead end. If he is truly stepping away from the criminal underworld to focus on being a father to Danny, he is not going to tether himself to a woman who is currently drowning in her own chaotic, legally treacherous waters. We saw this exact psychological shift when Jason was dealing with the fallout of the WSB secret location. That was a brutal wake-up call. Jason saw firsthand that his lifestyle and his choices were bleeding into the next generation, forcing Danny to carry secrets no teenager should ever have to bear. He wants peace for Danny. He wants stability. Britt, bless her heart, is a walking tornado of unresolved trauma and dangerous secrets. A man trying to escape the shadow of Sunny and build a quiet life for his teenage son is not going to partner up with someone who just narrowly escaped a poison vial trap and a kidnapping charge. It just does not align with his new priorities. This brings us to the real wild card in this equation, Hudson. When a new character drops into town with zero fanfare but a whole lot of unspoken presence, you know the writers are planting seeds for a massive storyline. I am heavily suspecting that Hudson is not just some random business executive wandering into town for a corporate takeover. The theories are already swirling, and the most compelling one points directly to him being the biological father of Phoebe. If that is true, Hudson is about to blow the roof off a secret that has been quietly simmering in the background for months. Let us unpack the Phoebe situation. Ethan confessed to being her father, but if you ask me, that confession always felt incredibly hollow. Why would Ethan claim paternity in such a dramatic, high-stakes moment while bleeding at the gallery, only to act so evasive and defensive afterward? People do not just claim a child unless they are either telling the truth or covering up a truth that is far more dangerous. Ethan is a grifter, a survivor, but he is not a martyr. If he is lying about being the father, he is doing it to protect a secret that he believes is worth dying for. And that secret almost certainly traces back to Delilah. Delilah is the ghost haunting this entire narrative. She clearly took a massive secret to her grave, and Ethan has been playing the role of the reluctant guardian of that secret. I believe Delilah was hiding Phoebe from someone powerful, someone incredibly dangerous, Ethan claiming the child was his own was a desperate smokescreen to keep the real father off the trail. But smokescreens eventually clear, and that is exactly what Hudson represents. He is the past, catching up. He is the truth that Delilah tried to bury, finally arriving in town with a singular, unstoppable purpose, finding his daughter. Now, Hudson cannot just be a regular guy if Delilah was that terrified of him, or if Ethan is willing to take bullets to keep the secret hidden. I suspect Hudson has deep, dangerous ties, potentially to a powerful crime syndicate on the West Coast. This perfectly explains his resources. You do not just track a hidden child across the country without serious money, influence, and a network of highly skilled operatives. If Hudson is bringing West Coast mob energy into town, it instantly elevates his status. He becomes a major player who can stand toe-to-toe with Sonny, someone who commands respect and fear. And it is exactly this aura of danger and authority that makes his impending collision with Britt so fascinating. How do these two cross paths? It is actually brilliant in its simplicity. Hudson arrives in town looking for a hidden child. He needs medical records, he needs insider information, and he needs someone who knows the hidden corners of the local society. Britt is a doctor, and more importantly, she is someone who operates in the gray areas of morality. She is not bound by strict rules if she feels a personal connection to a cause. Hudson's investigation into Phoebe's whereabouts is bound to lead him to the hospital and directly into Britt's orbit. Initially, their dynamic will likely be purely transactional. He needs information, and she has the access to provide it. But this is where the emotional layers start to weave together. We all know Britt's type. She has a fatal attraction to men who walk on the dark side. Jason was the ultimate embodiment of that preference. If Hudson arrives with the swagger of a West Coast kingpin, carrying a dangerous edge but driven by a deeply vulnerable desire to find his lost child, Britt is going to be utterly captivated. He represents the exact paradox she always falls for, a lethal exterior protecting a fiercely loyal heart. Working together to unravel Ethan's lies and Delilah's past will force them into high-stakes, intimate situations. That is the perfect breeding ground for a complicated, undeniable romance. Look at how Britt operated when she was on the run recently. She absolutely thrives in chaos. She is at her best when the chips are down and survival is on the line. When she finds out that Hudson is navigating a dangerous web to reclaim his blood, she will not run away. She will lean all the way in. We saw her protect Rocco with everything she had, willing to face down poisoned vials and rogue agents. She has a fierce maternal instinct that has never been fully realized. Helping a dangerous but devoted father find his little girl, that is a mission Britt will absolutely throw her entire soul into. Now, I have to play devil's advocate with my own theory for a second. If Jason is leaving the mob to find peace, and Britt is supposedly moving on to find her own happiness, why on earth would she jump right back into the fire with another mobster? Is she just doomed to repeat the same toxic cycle forever? It is a highly valid question. But here is the fundamental difference. Jason's life was always dictated by his loyalty to Sonny. He was a soldier first, a partner second. Hudson, on the other hand, is his own boss. His primary motivation right now is not territory or power. It is family. He is looking for Phoebe. If Britt aligns with Hudson, she is not signing up to be the secondary priority in a mob war. She is signing up to be an equal partner in building a family. This potential relationship also offers Britt the perfect escape hatch from the suffocating drama surrounding Rocco. For so long, Britt has been emotionally tethered to a child that ultimately belongs to Lulu and Dante. She has fought tooth and nail for a place in that dynamic, but with Lulu back in the picture and Dante firmly by her side, Britt is always going to be the outsider looking in. She needs to let go of that painful past. She needs to stop fighting for scraps of attachment in a family that is already whole. Hudson and Phoebe represent a completely blank slate for her. Imagine the narrative potential of this new family unit. Hudson reclaims Phoebe, shattering Ethan's web of lies once and for all. But Hudson is a dangerous man who needs someone to help him navigate the complexities of raising a child he never knew. Britt steps into that role not as a replacement, but as a fierce, loving figure who finally gets the family she has always craved. It is a beautiful, messy, complicated redemption arc for her character. She gets the dangerous man she is naturally drawn to, but she also gets the child and the family structure that has eluded her for years. And let us not forget the absolute fallout this will cause for Ethan. When Hudson exposes the truth about Delilah and Phoebe, Ethan is going to face a massive reckoning. He has been playing a highly dangerous game, using the child as a pawn in his own convoluted schemes, perhaps even blackmailing others with half-truths. When a West Coast powerhouse like Hudson realizes that Ethan has been gatekeeping his flesh and blood, the confrontation will be explosive. Britt, standing firmly by Hudson's side, will get to watch the House of Cards collapse. It is the perfect dramatic payoff for all the secrets that have been festering in the background. Furthermore, Britt's recent medical scare adds a profound layer of urgency to her character's evolution. She just found out that her fatal diagnosis was a complete manipulation by Cassius and his associates. She has literally been given her life back. When you believe you are dying, you make reckless choices. You cling to impossible dreams, like a reunion with Jason. But when you realize you have decades ahead of you, your perspective completely shifts. Britt is looking at a long future now, and she will want to build something sustainable. Hudson, despite his dangerous aura, offers a tangible, real future. A child to raise, a partner to stand beside, a life that is truly hers to shape. The contrast between Jason and Hudson will be the defining theme of this era for Britt. Jason is the ghost of her past, a man who represents trauma, shared survival, and ultimately, a path that leads nowhere but back to Sunny. Hudson is the completely unknown future. He is a blank canvas painted with danger, sure, but also with immense untapped possibility. The writers have a golden opportunity here to show genuine character growth. Britt choosing to walk away from the familiar pain of Jason's world to take a massive leap of faith with Hudson and Phoebe would be a masterclass in daytime storytelling. It shows that our characters can actually learn from their mistakes and choose a different kind of love. When you analyze the sheer weight of the narrative evidence, it becomes clear that the writers are setting the stage for a massive transition. They are systematically dismantling the ties that bind Britt to her past while introducing new elements that perfectly complement her psychology. Hudson's arrival is not a coincidence. It is a calculated disruption designed to push Britt out of her comfort zone and into a storyline where she finally has agency, purpose, and a family of her own. She will no longer be the third wheel in the Lulu and Dante saga, nor will she be the tragic figure waiting for Jason to prioritize her over Sunny. She will be the matriarch of a new, formidable family unit. Ultimately, this is why I am so convinced that the Jason reunion is nothing more than a clever red herring. The pieces are aligning perfectly for Hudson to sweep into town, tear down Ethan's carefully constructed lies, claim Phoebe, and offer Britt the exact kind of chaotic, beautiful family she deserves. It is a storyline that honors her sharp edge while giving her heart exactly what it needs to heal. But of course, in this town, nothing is ever that simple. Will Hudson's dangerous past follow him here? Will Ethan go down without a brutal fight? Will Delilah's remaining secrets destroy them all? That is the beauty of this show. We think we know the destination, but the journey is always full of shadows. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because this is where the real story begins.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.